So let's just jump right in. How much space do you actually need to be happy? I mean, really happy. It's a huge question, especially now when everything feels so crowded. And it turns out a lot of people are asking that exact same thing. So today, we're going to dive into this whole movement of living small.
Okay, let's just throw a number out there. 37 square meters. Now, for those of us who think in feet, that's roughly 400 square feet. To put that in perspective, imagine a regular two-car garage. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than that.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. Your bed, your kitchen, your couch, every single thing you own, all fitting into that little space. Now, for a whole lot of people, this isn't some thought experiment. This is real life.
Yep, living in compact homes like this, it's gone from being this kind of quirky, niche thing to a full-on social trend. So the big question is, why? What is making people choose to live this way?
So let's get into the why behind all this. What's pushing this big shift? Well, it really boils down to two huge and pretty different reasons: choice and necessity.
Okay, so on one side of the coin, you've got simple economics, right? In so many cities, housing prices are just through the roof. For a lot of folks, a small home is literally the only way they can afford to own anything at all. But then on the other side, you have this whole group of people who are choosing to go small. This is a deliberate lifestyle decision for them. They're trying to be more ecological, less wasteful, and really prioritize experiences over just stuff.
But here's the thing, making this work, actually living well in a small space, it's not just about getting rid of your stuff. Oh no, it is an absolute masterclass in design. Every single inch has to justify its existence. Because the whole point isn't to feel like you're living in a closet. The point is to be clever. The entire philosophy is just make every single part of your home work for you.
And if you want to see masters at work, look at cities like Tokyo. I mean, they are packed. Designers there have come up with some truly incredible tricks to make these tiny apartments feel way more spacious and useful than you'd think possible.
And some of these solutions are just genius. I'm talking about movable walls that slide out to give you a bedroom at night and then disappear in the morning to create a big open living space. Or think about walls that are secretly floor-to-ceiling cupboards. And yeah, of course, there's the smart furniture, stuff that folds, stacks, or just vanishes when you don't need it. It's all about making the space flexible.
Okay, so all these design tricks are amazing. For one person, maybe two. But what happens when you cram more people into a tiny, sealed-off space for a really, really long time? What does that do to your brain? What are the psychological limits here? Well, to figure that out, we need to look at one of the most intense experiments in confinement ever.
All right, let me introduce you to something called high seas. It was a NASA-funded experiment, and the whole idea was to simulate as closely as possible what it would actually be like to live on a mission to Mars. And the point here wasn't just, can people survive? It was all about the psychology. How do you keep a team working together, getting along, when you're literally stuck in a can with them and there is no way out? And let me tell you, the conditions, they were intense.
Okay, let's just lay out the setup. First up, the crew. 6 people. Highly skilled, yeah, but they started out as strangers. And for the next year, they were going to be each other's entire universe.
And where did they live? In an 11-meter dome. That is smaller than a tennis court, okay? Every single thing, eating, working, relaxing, it all happened inside these walls.
And how long did they have to do this? For 12 months. A full year. 365 days. Nobody in, nobody out, just the 6 of them, totally isolated on the side of a volcano in Hawaii.
So you'd think, right, after a year packed in like that, people would be climbing the walls, desperate for just a moment alone. You'd think they'd be completely sick of each other. But what the researchers discovered was, well, it was fascinating. And honestly, it seems like a total paradox. So what was the secret sauce? How did they manage to get along? Was it everybody just hiding in their little bunk whenever they got a chance? Nope. The answer was the complete opposite.
And this quote from Professor Ximena Pardo, one of the lead researchers, just nails it. She said, "You learn to negotiate with people instead of just withdrawing when things get difficult." And that's the key, isn't it? In a place like that, you can't just storm off and slam the door when you have a problem. You have to deal with it.
And there's the paradox right there. See, everyone had their own tiny private room, a little space to call their own. But the people who actually got along the best, they were the ones who spent more time together in the common areas. It turns out being forced to constantly interact made them get really good at solving problems right away, instead of just letting things build up.
And this discovery really challenges a big assumption many of us have, especially in Western cultures, this idea that we all need our own private bubble to be happy. But that's not a universal truth. The study reminds us that in so many cultures around the world, sharing spaces, even bedrooms, is the norm, and it's seen as a way to build stronger family and community ties.
So when we look at this whole living small trend, maybe the real conversation isn't about the exact number of square feet or the coolest new folding table. Maybe it's about something bigger. Maybe it's about rethinking our whole relationship with space and with the people we share it with. The goal isn't just about having less space. It's about finding the right kind of space.
And that kind of leaves us with this one last big question to think about. No matter how big or small our own homes are, what is that perfect balance? How much privacy do we need to just be ourselves and recharge, and how much togetherness do we need to really connect with other people? Maybe figuring that out, well, maybe that's the real secret to living well.